Welcome to Get Your Bell Rung Pro Wrestling Podcast. Guys, tonight we're going to be talking about Friday Night SmackDown. The good, the ugly, and the outright terrible. And there was some terrible in there tonight. Before we get into it, my co-host, WCW veteran, author of Looking Up at the Lights, the one, the only, Robbie Ido. Robbie, how are you?
I'm good. How you doing, KG?
Good. The Grizzle Vet's supposed to be joining us at some point tonight. Hopefully he'll make it. Last talked to him, he said that he was going to be with us tonight. Before we get into it, talk about, I had it pulled up, if I can find it now. Something interesting involving a SmackDown star, talking about Bron Breakker. Apparently, Mr. Bron Breakker has been cleared for action. WWE, though, decided not to use him because they don't want to push him too soon. As of April 1st, 2026, Bron Breakker has been medically cleared for in-ring competition following surgery to repair a sports hernia. Despite his clearance, WWE has changed its previously rumored creative direction involving Breakker, Seth Rollins for WrestleMania 42. Creative plans changed on March 30th edition of Raw. Gunther attacked Rollins, confirming Rollins versus Gunther as an official match for WrestleMania 42. I guess the original plans they were going to have was going to include a storyline involving a masked attacker and play a betrayal angle in which Breakker would turn on Rollins, which we've seen how that happened. And then it was expected to assume leadership, which would lead to that match at WrestleMania. So that's not happening. But it impacted other superstars, apparently. Gunther was previously rumored to face Rey Mysterio, who was sidelined with rib injuries. Additionally, Logan Paul had been linked to Rollins in an earlier report, but is now expected to be involved in a celebration-focused match involving IShowSpeed. I have no idea about that. Logan Paul is way too fucking good to be thrown in something with IShowSpeed, to be honest with you. So I have no idea what they're doing, but I have to believe that if Bron Breakker really is cleared, that we're going to see him in some way, some form, some fashion at WrestleMania. There's no way you're going to convince me that they're going to keep him off of WrestleMania, Robbie.
No, I wouldn't think so. I mean, you would think they'd be, excited to put him back,
right,
and use him. So you're definitely going to see him some shape, form, that he's going to be there. They're going to use them somehow. So,
yep. Granny Holster says, "Good evening, Good evening, Granny. Thank you for joining us. The Grizzle Vet. Thank you for gracing us with your presence, sir."
This show is supposed to start 30 minutes after SmackDown. I still have 10 minutes.
It starts when I started.
Just because you got some ideas in your mind of what you want to do on a Friday night.
It's going to start when I start. It's late. We already
I'll
done
tell
it.
People what you have planned, you perv.
Grizzle, we're talking about Bron Breakker. He was released. He's been cleared by medical, but WWE decided they didn't want to rush it, which I get that. But there's no one that's going to convince me at all that we're not going to see Bron Breakker get involved some way, somehow, even if it's 30 seconds, interference, something at WrestleMania. Or, Grizzle, do you believe that, no, WWE is going to completely sideline him and they're going to wait till after Mania to use him?
I wouldn't be surprised if we saw him the Raw before Mania.
Right. Now, something else we're talking about, Logan Paul was supposed to be included in some stuff with Seth Rollins, but now that's changed, and they're going to have him in some celebration match with iSpeed. I have a hard time imagining that they're going to waste a talent like Logan Paul. I know people hate on Logan Paul. Oh, he was a big YouTuber. Go fuck yourselves. Get over yourselves. The guy's an athlete. He's goddamn better than a lot of guys in the locker room. I can't believe WWE would waste someone like Logan Paul at WrestleMania on, and nothing against ISP, but at the same time, yeah, I show speed, but at the same time, come on.
I've heard two stories. It's either a 6-man tag match or it's a tag team title rematch with LA Knight and I Show Speed in respective corners.
I guess it's a little better, but still.
I'd rather see a title rematch with cornermen than any chance of I Show Speed actually wrestling anybody.
Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. I Show Speed, well, he took that spear by Braun Breaker like a freaking champion. And if he wasn't legit hurt, boy, he sold it like he was. So I'm going to give him a little bit of credit. But at the same time, besides some entertaining segment that's a couple of minutes to, I don't know, in between matches, I don't want to see him in a match. I just don't. That's just me, though. Maybe I'm sure there might be some people out there who wants to see it. I don't. And speaking of not wanting to see, guys, I'm glad I'm going to lie to you. As I said during my intro, there was some good, some ugly, and some downright terrible tonight. A lot of stuff I did not want to see. Matter of fact, tonight's grade is going to reflect some of the stupid shit that was on my television tonight. Just being honest with you. Grizzle, we'll start with you, man. Overall, your thoughts on SmackDown?
It stunk. I ain't going to lie. It did not keep my interest. I think I might have fallen asleep a couple times.
Well, there's something.
I didn't like the opening segment. I didn't like the follow-up segment later in the show. What else? I would have been excited if the tag team titles changed hands, but we'll talk about that.
Boy, will we talk about that. There was a part in Raw, a segment tonight, that if I wasn't doing this podcast tonight, I would have turned it off completely. Robbie, your thought overall about Raw?
SmackDown.
Fuck, SmackDown.
I know it's late at night. You're a little delirious, but shit.
It doesn't matter. Yes, there's parts of me that they did a few things that I don't understand, and I go, why? Maybe because you're trying to bring a different group in. My question is, who the hell's this I Show Speed guy or whatever? Where's he from?
I Show Speed is affiliated with Logan Paul.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a YouTuber.
Yeah.
Very popular.
Yep. He is.
Well,
guys,
let's
let's go into it. The reason why I accidentally said Raw is because I have Raw written right here in front of me. I was looking at it because we opened up with actually the Raw replay of what happened with Cody and Stephanie this past Monday. Then Randy Orton comes out. Now, it started off fairly good. I loved he said, what do you want to talk about? Mocking, of course, Cody Rhodes. The fans chanted, of course. Now, let's be honest, though. All 11,620,000 people that were there, this is Missouri. So even though Randy Orton gets a pop anyway, he was this was the place of all places that people were going to be behind him, being that he is from Missouri. He says Missouri is home, which is confusing because of something he says later on in a second here. He says next time, though, that he is home, he is going to have number 15 on his waist. But then he says, but Missouri's not really home because home is really the 5 people in this row, his family. I get that. And he says, you know what? It doesn't matter if Cody walks out, if he leaves on a stretcher, if he crawls out. Doesn't matter. He's leaving empty-handed. And he says it's not personal. Cody gave him permission to listen to those voices. And boy, the voices in his head, they're telling him some bad things, man. And he went on to say that Cody hears voices too, though. Finally. And that Stephanie was right. That Cody can't beat him. Not this version of Cody. Cody comes out to a lot of boos. And he didn't come out to talk. They pretty much got into a fight right away. And lo and behold, Pat McAfee comes to the ring. Cody goes to walks up to him like, "What's up, dude?" And well, he hits him in his balls. Randy then brutally attacks Cody Rhodes. I love the attack. I love them beating the shit out of Cody with a chair. I'm not going to lie to you. And Pat goes on to talk about the sports team that says that's a tough night in St. Louis. Pat says that he is there because Randy Couture said the business didn't pass him by. Now, what he was talking about that was Cody Rhodes was on Pat McAfee's podcast on his show. And Pat was saying how the show passed him by, kind of. That's why he's not really on WWE very much anymore. And that made Randy Couture say, man, the show didn't pass you by. What happened is the show's just gotten bad. It's forgotten about the fans of the Attitude Era. Now, let's hard stop right here. And this is where it gets confusing. I thought this was all about Cody Rhodes winning number 15 for his family, for himself. But apparently it's not. He changed his mind mid-promo. It's all about the forgotten fans of the Attitude Era, which, Grizzle, please remind me, Randy Orton wasn't part of the Attitude Era, now was he?
No, he was.
But I guess he was a fan.
He was part of the Ruthless Aggression.
Right,
era.
But I guess he was a fan, and this is where the fan thing comes in. Now, Pat McAfee goes hard to say, and look, there were some good things that made me chuckle because they were true. There's still WrestleMania tickets available. They're not sold out. Why? When we have Randy Orton standing right there. SmackDown has a puppet for a champion. Some will agree. Pat said that he is the one on the phone telling Randy to kill everything because the business is, and I quote, fucking terrible. And the crowd pops. They love it. But again, we're in Missouri. Grizzle, were you popping?
The segment was absolutely fucking stupid. Yeah, Randy Orton came out and started cutting his shit. Okay, fine, I'm good with that. Got a little confusing. Cody came out, they started to fight. All right, cool. We're gonna have a little scrap here a little bit. And then Pat McAfee. That's the best that they could come up with was
My God.
Pat McAfee, who decided to cut a bitch promo. They don't everything in, but it fell. It dropped. I had interest. I was excited. You know, this is one of the matches I was looking forward to. And any Pat McAfee involvement kind of kills it.
This is the problem. This is the problem for me. And I might offend a lot of people that don't care. As a guy who played football, I can tell you that the punter, the kicker, he wasn't the toughest son of a bitch on the team. And to have Pat McAfee, granted, he's probably one of the most popular kickers of any football team.
Okay, not just popular, but probably one of the best.
Yeah, but nonetheless, I cannot view him and take him seriously as this tough guy. Can't. If my 16-year-old boy was in the ring with him, I'd put money on my 16-year-old boy. Just tell you the fucking truth. Robbie. Talk to me, man.
Well, we were doing good until Pat McAfee entered the ring. I'm like, why? I'm not a Pat McAfee fan. So I was never a Pat. I think what's his big highlight, if you want to say his highlight of his career, was
playing football.
Yeah, even that was him running from the police after he pissed out on the street. That's the highlight of Pat McAfee. How he's gotten to be so popular for shows and ESPN and all that. Whatever, I give but no, you're going to tell me, hell, I was, this is what you're going to bring out for him. I mean, I'd rather seen Randy's dad.
Right. And look, this is the thing. Pat McAfee color commentary. I love the guy. I do. He's entertaining. He's fucking funny. I love the roles he played where one of the Royal Rumbles, he got in there and he jumped right the fuck out because he was scared to get his ass kicked. I love the fact that, Gunther beat the shit out of him. Again, that's its role. He's a fucking kicker. Sorry, kickers. You're not tough guys. Maybe they are. I could be wrong. I don't see you that way. I just don't. So for me to see one of your kind to come out and talk like he's a badass, well, but then again, maybe I'm wrong. Because is he really the badass? Or maybe he is wearing a fucking skirt because he's hiding behind Randy Orton because he is a bitch. Grizzle?
You're going a little extreme.
No, I'm not. Special
I don't have
man.
an issue with Pat McAfee. He just doesn't fit into this storyline. And then the matches he had in NXT and a few shows, he athletic. He's got some talent. You can't dog him on that one.
I didn't say he wasn't talented. I said he's a kicker.
Said on commentary one time when Michael Cole made a comment about getting roughed up. Well, you were a football player, and he made a comment. He goes, "I was the kicker. I stayed away from getting tackled." I mean, he even made the joke that
right.
He's a kicker.
Exactly. My point.
But he doesn't fit into the storyline. Is he going to be at WrestleMania in Randy Orton's corner? Okay, does Randy Orton need a corner man? I don't think so. But this just kind of derailed the match for me. And later on in the show, it doesn't get much better.
Right.
I'll be honest with you.
I know I'm not going too far because it is professional wrestling. And look, if he's going to play that role, the question has to be asked. Is he the typical guy who's out there running his mouth, but really he has a skirt on, being the bitch that hides behind a professional wrestler, Robbie? Is that going to be his role?
I have to agree with Vet, though. He doesn't fit in this storyline. Who in creative decided, well, let's bring Pat McAfee in?
It wasn't the road dog Jesse James, that's for sure, because he ain't there no more.
So, I mean, why? Why would you bring him in? Because he doesn't fit in this at all. He wasn't part of the storyline or anything. He's probably the guy, and why even have him in that corner?
Right.
It should be just Cody and Randy. You don't need anybody in the corner. And then if he is, then here's what's my prediction. This is my prediction. If he's in with Randy, he's going to cost Randy somehow the title then. So Randy, Cody's going to keep it. He'll somehow do something and screw Randy, and Cody walks away with the title. So, it's, to me, this part is creative being lazy as shit.
This was supposed to be about shock, guys. And later on, we hear what Cody said. I can't believe the words NWO. And I get that when the comparison he did was a slap in the face, right? I get that, but still, I don't know. This was just crazy. Then we go to a commercial, and of course, WWE had to play the segment right back because in the 2 minutes since we went to commercial, we forgot about it. Come back, after the replay of what just happened backstage. Pat and Randy walk into their vehicle sleeve. Pat says, "Mission accomplished." He says, "The mission is save the business." Okay. Guys, next, Rhea Ripley versus Mishin with B-Fab. Look, I got to be honest with you guys. Now that Mishin and B-Fab are heels, they look great. They dress great. They look like pro wrestlers. It just took them turning heels to dress like pro wrestlers. I thought they looked great. Rhea Ripley was having her way with Mishin, and then Jay comes out, causes the distraction. Mishin takes advantage of it. Wade Barrett made a comment that Mishin was the most hardcore in that division. What? Really?
There was some weird commentary. This is the show. My wife caught a couple things that made her wonder what was going on.
Yeah, a couple of things. When Rhea was giving the Razor's Edge, that was a nasty Razor's Edge. I don't think she was able to pick her up, and she just kind of said "fuck it" and tossed her ass.
I disagree.
Huh?
I disagree.
We'll get to you in a second.
Okay.
That was a great reversal of the electric chair by Mishin. going backwards and, flipping Rhea and land that amazing. Rhea gets the win with Mishin tapping out. Good match. I enjoyed this match, Robbie.
Yeah, I liked it. I liked everything about it. It was good. I don't know, is it only me or you guys notice Rhea looks a little smaller these days? Where back in the day where she looked bigger, like it looks like she's just kind of like leaning out or whatever.
Do you disagree that she was having problems picking Mishin up for that Razor's Edge? Because it looked like that to me.
Yeah, it looked a little bit.
And then she just dumped her. Right.
Yeah, because I thought with KG, I was like, wow, when she dumped her, I was like,
I laughed. After I see Misha wasn't hurt, I laughed my ass off. Obviously,
right. It did look like it. It didn't look good.
Right.
It looked nasty.
Right.
But Rhea just looks smaller. She just looks smaller to me.
Yeah.
So I don't know if she's just not lifting heavy or lifting like she used to or what. But no, even at the end with EO coming out and everything, I actually enjoyed all of it.
And that's what I was getting to, post-match attack. And then, of course, Ia comes out to help. Grizzle, your thoughts on the match and invoking EO into this storyline?
I enjoyed the match. I thought it was good. I had no issue with it. I have no issue with EO getting him because EO still has ties to Rhea, so it makes sense for her to come out. As far as the spot goes, though, I don't disagree with you that it looked bad, but what I noticed was it looked like to me, and maybe Robbie can give me some more clarification, it looked like they got her up for it, and then she was backing her into the ropes because she needed Mishin to push off on the ropes, and Mishin just wasn't getting her feet where she was supposed to. And then she pushed off and planted. It just looked to me like they didn't set it up correctly. And Misha had to get into the ropes to push, which is what made it look awkward because Rhea kept stumbling with her.
Or see, to me, it looked like that Misha was actually trying to use the ropes to help Rhea get her up over her head to drop her. Robbie?
Yeah, I noticed that too throughout that spot. Like they were trying to do something off the ropes, and I thought, okay, did Michin miss and she was trying to block that move? And that's, where it kind of, because it just didn't look right all the way around. But
no, it looked horrible.
Yeah.
But
you can see Michin trying to do something with her feet. And I thought, well, maybe is she trying to catch the rope so she can't, kind of hold it up or whatever. It just, whatever they were trying to do, it didn't work.
Right. But overall, but you know what? That's literally the only little piece of anything because it was a good match. It really, really was. Guys, next, backstage with Macadona and Aleister Black. Aleister Black says the universe is not right with Randy Orton. And Cardona's not okay with it, though. And Cardona's like, hey, I don't want to talk. I'm long iced tea. Zack Ryder, I want to fight. I added that part. He didn't say Zack Ryder, but that's how I see him. Still, Zack Ryder. And we're going to have a match later on. Anything you guys want to add to that?
No, because I see him as Zack. I want to know, is he having regrets that he did sign with WWE?
Not when that paycheck comes in, he don't.
No, I watched an interview with him. A really good interview with him and Cody Rhodes on Cody Rhodes' podcast, whatever you want to call it. It was a really good interview. And I'm a fan of Macadona. I'm not a fan of Zack Ryder. And yes, folks, they are two completely different characters. And we'll get there with this match, the match whenever it happens.
Okay, hey, one thing I do want to, I'm sorry to interrupt or anything, to go back, but here, and you guys, I noticed that, like, when you said, Wade said Michin is the most hardcore out of the women, but that kind of cracked me up because, correct me, there's nobody on that roster that's like hardcore.
Well, what cracked me up was she's so hardcore, but when was the last time she won a fucking match?
Right, but you go like hardcore. Who?
Well, right.
That
Compared to who?
roster is hardcore.
Right. Right.
I mean, if you were going to do it, and they're not doing it with her at NXT, the closest you have, correct me if I'm wrong, but would be Blake Monroe, just from what she's done in AEW. That would be the most hardcore person you have on that roster.
Well, I think Nia Jax, after all, she did break what's her face's nose. That's pretty fucking hardcore. No, I agree with you. I completely agree.
You know, because they just don't do those kind of matches.
Right.
You know, you just don't have those kind of matches for the women like stuff.
Right. Guys, you stay backstage. This is I have to be honest with you. This next segment, I'm like, what the fuck are you guys doing? MFT, Tama Tonga takes issue. You know, he asks Solo, why are we doing this shit with this lantern, right? And Solo, you know, kind of takes issue with it. And because Thomas, like, you know, this has been nothing but problems. This whole lantern thing has been nothing but problems. So now he's going to handle it with Uncle Howdy. And Soto, but he says, but I'm going out by myself. I don't want nobody out with me. And Soto says, you better handle it. And not to mess up. Grizzle. Look, and we're going to go more into it. There's a couple more segments with these guys in it. But right away, I'm like, they are now planting the seeds of problems where they're either going to break these guys up or they're going to kick Tama out. I don't know what they're going to do. But for me, it's too soon because we really haven't even really seen MFT truly get going yet. I know they've been together for a while, but they've been so hung up with this, the Uncle Howdy and the Wyatt Six thing that besides anything else, we really haven't seen much of these guys. I want to see more of where can we go with these guys. A bunch of talented guys put together, but they really haven't done anything with them much, in my opinion. Why are there planting seeds to break them up? I don't like it, Grizzle. Your thoughts on that?
Honestly, except for you know, the inclusion of Mateo and Tala, they've been around a while and they just haven't been doing anything.
Right.
They try to run roughshod on it, but and I think they just kind of petered out with this Wyatt Six thing. Oh. They had an idea and a storyline plan, and I think it just kind of, due to crowd reaction, whatever, it fizzled. And I'm hoping tonight was the last of it. It just kind of fizzled out, and it makes me wonder, what are we going to do with, you know, the Wyatt Six next? I think we could see Tama leaving just because, you know, he's been, you know, Shinsuke's been getting in his ear and all. And I wouldn't mind a Tama Tonga solo run myself. I would have no issue with that, but unfortunately, it would just be him fighting with various members of the MFTs for God knows how long until they decide they're done with that story, and then they'll just shuffle them off somewhere, and that'll be the end of that.
Right. And unfortunately, though, I don't know they're done with Uncle Howdy because, and we'll get there, Robbie, is this the right call, man? Plant those seeds, possibly break them up, or let's really see what they can do because, and I agree with Grizzle to a degree, they've been together for a while, but they just haven't did shit with them because they've been so caught up with this pointless storyline that's going nowhere.
Right. I mean, I agree with that. They've been around for a while, but you really haven't done much with them on anything other than this, you know, with the Wyatt Six. And, you know, I mean, you could have took that somewhere, but you do it 1 week and then now you don't bring it back for like 2 or 3 weeks. So you gave too much time in between it. It just, you know, so they really didn't give any of that whole feud or anything a fighting chance because they probably could have, if they did it right, creative or whatever, they would have been at WrestleMania and had an important match. You would have had that build up, but they screwed that too, you know?
Well, part of the problem, for whatever reason, Wyatt Six never there.
Yeah, but that's booking though.
Well, right. Well, is it booking or is there problems with the Wyatt Six? You know, you just don't know what's going on backstage of, is that booking or is there issues with the talent that's keeping them from being on television? But at the same time, there's so many of them. So if one or two are sick or whatever what's ever happening, that means you have to keep the whole group off the television.
Right. I mean, the way they used them, they're interchangeable.
Right.
Just like with MFTs, they're interchangeable.
Right. Right.
I think with the Wyatt 6, which they can do without, the thing, and we're talking booking and all that other stuff, you can do things with the Wyatt 6 that don't require them all to be at TV. They can tape the promos, and Uncle Howdy can do the weird videos, and the family can be in those, which in the end, that's going to help with, because they want to make that money. They don't have to book 6 people to come out and do like a backstage promo. They can just do that. You can't really do that with the MFTs too much, because it would just look like, a Godfather movie or something like that constantly. You can do different stuff and little tricks and things to make the Wyatt 6 stuff kind of interesting without having to have them on TV every week. The MFTs, you kind of need to, because their promos don't have that same weird quality to them like the Wyatt 6 ones do. So I think in some cases it could be a production type of thing.
You know what, for myself, what really made MFTs look less like a badass group? When they started putting the fucking paint on their faces.
Well, yeah, they look like a bunch of panda bears.
Yeah. Yeah, it just it doesn't go. Guys, we stay backstage. This one with Rhea and Io with Kathy Kelly. Rhea, she said that, do you not think I had a backup plan? And she says that she has friends in Io and that Jay only has followers. This whole friend thing in WWE aggravates me, because this isn't the only storyline that involves we have friends or questioning friends, and we'll get to that as well. I just didn't like, I don't know. I just did not like this promo. It came off as weak. It came off as childish. Nah. I got a friend, you don't. Robbie?
Yeah, I mean, could have did it better. I mean, you just just said, hey, you got my backup, or,
exactly.
Thankful for Io, she's my backup. She's here, whatever, we're close, whatever. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Grizzle, would have been much better if Rhea would have been like, hey, yo, look, you guys think you getting over me, but I got my backup. I got my girl, and we're here, and we're taking care of business. And at WrestleMania, you try some bullshit. Io's going to be there to watch me. Isn't that so much better than I got friends, but you got followers?
Yeah, I mean, the friend line was kind of, I don't know. This is one of those promos.
Hold on. It's not, real quick. It's not just the friend line. It's the I have a friend and all you have is followers. That's what made it bad for me.
Well, yeah. But like I said, this is a promo that could have just been edited out. It didn't add anything. They could have just cut it, moved on. Once again, 3-hour show. They need filler. And that's what this was. This was pure filler.
Yep. Guys, next, Uncle Howdy versus Tonga. How can I say this? Because I don't want to be disrespectful, because on Bo Dallas's worst day, he'd be so much better than on my best day. But at the same time, guys, for myself, Bo Dallas is someone that, and I've said this even when he was doing the Bo Leave thing, right? That he's always been a guy for me that I love his promos. I thought he was interesting. I thought he could be funny. I love his Uncle Howdy promos as well. But I prefer seeing him just in a rocking chair, being the leader and doing the whatever he's doing versus actually being in the ring. And I think the reason why is he still fucking wrestles like Bo Dallas. And I'm not saying that he's a bad wrestler. What I'm saying, though, is he's supposed to be Uncle Howdy, this badass, this mysterious force type thing. And he just doesn't come across this way in his matches. We've seen with the mandible claw, Solo comes out with the lantern, distraction. Tama doesn't want him out there. They kind of get to a little thing. Uncle Howdy gets him his sister Abigail for the win. They fight over the lantern, him and Solo, Tonga and Solo. And then Tama gets it and then leaves it on the edge of the apron, which allows Uncle Howdy to finally have his beloved fucking lantern back. Grizzle, you see what I'm saying, though, about the whole Bo Dallas thing? It's not saying that he's not good in the ring. I'm saying, though, because of the character he's supposed to be playing, it's not the same. Let me give you an example. You go watch Mean Mark Callis wrestle and then watch a match, him as the Undertaker. He wrestles different. He wrestles differently. I feel like that should be the same thing with Bo Dallas, Uncle Howdy, and it's not. And that bugs me for some reason. Go.
Well, he wrestled differently as time went on. When Callis first showed up in WWE's The Undertaker, he wrestled just like Mean Mark Callis. He did the walk across the rope. He was doing stuff that Mean Mark was doing in WCW. Eventually, he evolved the character. That being said, you would think by now Bo Dallas would have evolved his character a bit more. To me, he's trying to emulate Bray Wyatt a little too much. But my problem with him wrestling is because nobody else has to do this. He has to wrestle in the mask with the hair and the beard and all that. Nobody else does. You know, right. Gacy, Loomis, Rowan, they all come out, they take their shit off, they wrestle without. But Howdy has to play, he has to wear the get up, you know, the mask thing. And it looks odd to me because, you know, except for when he was the Fiend, and the Fiend was a different type of thing. Bray Wyatt didn't wear a mask or a gimmick when he wrestled, but Uncle Howdy has to. Yeah. And it's kind of, you know, and even when Bray Wyatt was wrestling as the Fiend, the mask threw me off with that too a little bit. Because it wasn't like it was wearing a mask. I mean, it was this like Uncle Howdy's mask, same with the Fiend. It's a whole fucking hairpiece. It's a full fucking, it just looks odd. But, you know, match was okay. I didn't have any, you know, he got the lantern back, and like I've always said, that lantern is basically his connection to Bray. That's what that is. That's why he has to have it back. So I'm going with why he treasures the lantern so much. Odd that they just gave it back to him, but I think that's to kind of split Tama up because I think that's going to be an issue as we go down the road.
Right. No, I get about the whole lantern thing 100%. I get it. And it actually makes sense. I'm not saying it was a dumb gimmick. It actually made sense. It is something that's very sentimental. His brother lost unexpectedly. It's tragic. I get it. I don't like how the story ended, though, with the lantern. You know, just giving it back to them.
Yeah, he just gave it back to them.
At least right now, look, something may happen next week. I'm like, here I am being the asshole fan, judging too quickly, right? But as of right now, just didn't like it. Now, you talk about him trying to be Bray Wyatt. And I agree, even to the point that his body transformation, Robbie, you go look at Bo Dallas. I wouldn't say Bo was ever this big cut muscular guy, but boy, he's really kind of not as muscular as he was as Bo Dallas. He looked like he's starting to slowly turn into Bray Wyatt, and that's not hit against Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt is Bray Wyatt. His body was his body shape, but it looks like he's doing that transformation as well. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I've said this all along. I mean, even his promos, he tries to emulate Bo, you know, in the promos and everything else, whereas he should have just taken that Uncle Howdy character and made it his own and made it into his own character instead of trying to emulate Bo. I mean, it's just because you can see it, and it's just, you know, just be, you know, do it. Do your own thing, you know, make it your thing.
Yeah. Would it make more sense if he would have actually been Bo Dallas until he put that mask on, and then he turned into this different person? Do you think that would go over better than him trying to be like Bray Wyatt?
It's, you know, I mean, you would think the fans know, okay, that Bo and Bray were related, but there's probably people that have lived under a rock and don't know that they were related. It might, you know, they could have did something like that where he was Bo Dallas and now he turns in, go to the mask and turn into Uncle Howdy and stuff like that. You could have, if, and there's probably a way they could have done it, and thought it through.
I think the problem, Grizzled, is this. To Bo Dallas's credit, I don't know if there's anything that he could have done, to be honest with you, because Bray Wyatt was such a beloved guy, not just as the Fiend or Bray Wyatt the character. Bray Wyatt was a good human being. There's stories about Bray Wyatt. He was such a beloved guy, and to lose a guy like that, I sometimes question them even trying to do this, because you're, in a way, you're almost setting anybody up, Bo or anyone else, to fail.
Oh, you're talking to me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no. You said it right there. They should have done, like Robbie said, they should have done something to make the character his own, but they just kind of went the cheap route because, they lost Bray too soon, and this was a way to recreate him. That's the way I kind of look at it. And even when they debuted the Wyatt 6, it was different then, but then they kind of cookie cuttered it,
Right.
And I think part of that is because of that infamous, what was it, the Whataburger photo or whatever.
Right.
You saw them just leaving people for dead in the back, and then they're smiling with fans at the Whataburger or the Dairy Queen or whatever. I think that kind of just changed it, and slowly now we have what we got. So,
yep. Backstage, Miz and Kit Wilson talking about the curse. R-Truth walks up. The membership for Judgment Day is full, guys. And Miz goes on this tantrum about R-Truth always getting his way. He actually needs to earn something. And R-Truth takes that as a challenge and says, you know what? You got yourself a tag team match for the belts. Next, we go to a video package with Fatu talking about the unsanctioned match at WrestleMania with Drew McIntyre. He says that, he's forced. You're forced to fight for survival. It doesn't, and this type of shit. It doesn't matter who's wrong or right. And he says that Drew's in Fatu's world. I thought it was well done, to be honest with you. I haven't seen anything that Fatu has done, in my opinion, that's been bad, though, Grizzle.
Fatu is one of those guys that they've got something, and I hate to see him screwed up, and I hope they don't. They got something. This guy this guy's going to be the world champion. He has to be at some point.
I hope.
The promos are great. No, this was a great promo. And what I liked about this one is you didn't have to have him and Drew in the same building fighting with each other. That's what they're doing over on Raw with Brock Lesnar and Obafemi. By the time we get to WrestleMania, we're going to have seen them face to face like 9 times. They're not doing that this time. They're like, okay, we're going to do a video package, separate you guys for a little bit, tease the fans a little bit. That's the way I think they should be doing it. Instead, they keep meeting up. CM Punk and Roman Reigns meeting up every week, or Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton meeting up every week. Obafemi and Brock Lesnar. No. No, I like the promo, though. And like I said, it fits. Because because he sounds real, because he is real. He's telling you the truth, and he makes it believable. You're thinking, okay, if I'm walking down the street and this guy cuts me off and says, I want to fight, I'm going to turn my ass and run the other fucking direction and hope he's not that fast.
Robbie, could this have been any better, in your opinion?
No, I mean, he did a great job. I mean, the promo was great. It just, the whole thing was, just believable. It was just a great promo. I mean, the kid, he's very talented. Was it like when he came in, I thought, got another Samoan and stuff, but after like seeing him a few times, you're like, this kid's talented.
Yeah. You stay backstage, guys, with Sami Zayn, who, by the way, got fucking booed out of the building tonight multiple times. He's there thanking Nick Aldis. Nick's like, look, you don't need to thank me. You do what Sami does. You create your own path to WrestleMania. And I'm here to go address the people. But then, Trick William music hits. And not only does music hit, well, those pyro that Sami Zayn wanted so bad that he was like, yeah, it's excited about. Trick Williams used them. I thought I was dumb because WWE only has enough money in their budget, for either or. But what lost me and what got me not invested in this anymore was little Yachty with Trick Williams. Because, sorry, he sounded like a fool in the fucking ring, in my opinion. He aggravated me. He made me not want to watch this shit at WrestleMania. This was actually a match I was looking forward to. Now I'm like, I don't know. He said he came out to celebrate his first WrestleMania match. Yachty says WrestleMania is for legends. Trick brought Yachty to ask him to go with him to WrestleMania. Trick is not taking no lip from Gingerbread Man. Trick said that he stole Sammy's. Oh no, he said kept my Sammy's pyro. That's we got the pyro. Sami comes out again, booed. Trick is getting ahead of himself, Sami says, because you haven't even won the match. Sami says he's going to humble Trick Williams at WrestleMania. Fans got on my nerves with a chance of Sammy Hogan. That shit aggravates me. Trick says Sami is only champ because going to WrestleMania because of him. Hayes comes out to a pretty good pop. He tells Trick Williams that they have history and that there's a receipt coming at the right time. He doesn't sit right what Sami did. Then he says he wants his rematch. Listen to people. Sami seemed like he was going to not give it to him. And Trick says, well, they want Mello, not Sami. Give him his rematch. Sami says that he answered to that open challenge and beat him. He didn't do anything wrong. And that he's going to have to wait after WrestleMania. Trick says give him a chance. Sami then talks about how he was screwed by Randy and Cody during that match. And finally, the same thing happened, except it worked out for him. Camille says stop talking and do the right thing. Sami says, fine, you got your rematch tonight. Trick then says, I like this part. Fuck, you could have just said this 5 minutes ago, saved us a lot of time. Sami took issue and hit Trick Williams. Guys, there's a whole lot to unwrap here. Robbie, your thought with little Yachty.
Yeah. Why? Well, yeah, my sentiments exactly too. Why? Why do you keep bringing all these rappers in? I
know why.
Well, yeah,
right. It's the crossover. It's the problem that fine, bring them in, let them say a couple of things, but don't have them get involved the way they are, and that's what makes me lose interest. Sorry, Robbie, go ahead.
No, you're fine. No, because I'm the same thing, and I understand because you're trying to bring their fans with them to get more people invested into the stuff, but you have people. I'm going to probably cross a line here. Okay. You have people like me, you, whatever. I couldn't tell you the first rapper, whoever they could bring the best rapper, whoever the top guy is. And nowadays I don't listen to that crappy music. I could care less about that music. It's not my genre. So I don't think those people, to me, they're nothing more than thugs. Okay. Sorry. A lot of them come, to me, they're just, like the way they act, like the way he was acting in the ring and stuff, he was acting like he was one of the superstars climbing the ropes and stuff like that. So you go and you see guys from that wrestled and stuff like that. And you're putting these guys in there in the ring that have no business in the ring, just because they're rappers or whatever. You're not taking the guys from the wrestling world and putting them on stage and letting them sing tunes with them. So they have no business there. I mean, I get it. You're trying to bring their crowd in and stuff, but I shook my head. I hate when they bring these guys in
Right. Mr. Herb says, happy Easter weekend to you, gentlemen. Look, I mean, a lot of the old school hip hop stuff, I'm very familiar. NWO, Ice-T, Ice Cube, guys like that.
Right. But those guys were talented.
Right. But the problem is, and again, my problem isn't the fact that he's there. My problem is that getting involved the way he is. That is my aggravation to it. Because it just, I don't know. It's I'm not interested because it's not believable to me, right? It's not believable. Grizzle?
Well, one, it's NWA, not NWO.
NWA. That's NWA.
I want to let you guys know. I'm up with what the kids are listening to nowadays. It's really hip. It's really cool. No, I don't know who some of these rappers are either. But as far as Lil Yachty coming out, I was fine with it because it fits Trick's character. Trick's gimmick is supposed to be the guy, and so he's gonna be with a guy like. So I have no problem with it. It fits it. If it was like, say, the Miz coming out with like a Lil Yachty, then I might kind of go, all right, I think we're pushing it. But this fits the character, so I'm gonna let it slide. I don't mind some rap. I'm like, KG. I'd sooner listen to NWA, Eazy-E, or Run DMC or something like that before LL Cool J. We'll throw out the old guys before this. But it fits the gimmick, so I'm fine with it. What I wasn't fine with it.
Grizzly, this is a problem. I agree with you up to the point that he got into the ring and took the match, and the things that he was saying, not even saying anything wrong. It's just the noise, the things he was, the sounds and different stuff. It made Trick look less than the star that Trick Williams is. I had no problem when he first got in there and he was hyping the fans up for Trick Williams. That's fine. But when he was the backup cheerleader voice for Trick Williams, it made, in my opinion, Trick Williams look less than the star that Trick Williams is. But Trick Williams, I'm telling you, that man is the absolute fucking future of WWE. Trick Williams hasn't even scraped the surface of the level of success that I think he's going to have. I think he's going to, and a lot of people may disagree with me, I think Trick Williams is possibly that next guy to, by the time his career is over with, to be at the level of a John Cena. I really, really do. But to have someone like Lil Yachty in there, making the sounds of the noise to back up what Trick Williams is saying, it takes that away from him. And that was my problem. Go ahead, Grizzle. I apologize.
See, I disagree with that because, like I said, I still think even it fits Trick's character because in that, and I'm not saying I am all into that culture and I know all about it, but in that culture, you have that guy. You have the dude who's all, and then you got his little, guy behind him. He's like, that's what they do. I've seen it. You've seen it. Right. So I still say it fits the character. The issue I had with this promo was, and Trick made the comment to it, it was too fucking long. It was so damn long. They could have gotten to this a lot faster. It took them I swear to God, it seemed like 15 minutes to set up a rematch for the main event. It took too long.
17 minutes, 22 seconds.
Okay, so I was right. All right. Okay, cool. That was my thing. It just took too long. They could have done this shit in like half that time. Right. We did not need a 17-minute promo to set up the main event. It was just, Sami talked too long. Trick talked too long. Carmelo came out. He spoke too long as far as I'm concerned. They didn't have somebody going, tell him to shut up. They let him go. I think on this promo, they kind of let him go. And I think, I would really hope they didn't script it out to be 20 minutes of this shit. But that was my problem. It was just too long.
Herb says,
that was fine with me.
Herb Simmons says, I want wrestling. If I want rap, I'll go to a rap concert. Look, and look, just so everyone know that I am fair across the board with shit like this. And everyone on this panel, I think you including you, Robbie, I think you're going to disagree with me. Well, I know Grizzle, I know you're going to disagree with me. But the whole Jackass, what's his face for Jackass and Sami Zayn WrestleMania shit, I fucking hated it. I hated it because to me, that makes a mockery out of professional wrestling because those guys are not fucking professional wrestlers.
No, I totally agree. I mean, I guess you have to give him credit. Like Jelly Roll, at least he worked out.
Right.
You know, so you got to give him credit where, you know, he went, at least he trained. Where you bring in some of these guys and they don't train or anything like that. And to me, like, I agree with you. It's a mockery and stuff like that.
I'm going to tell you in a second, we'll get there. Well, I disagree with you even with Jelly Roll. And we're going to
I disagree with you on Johnny Knoxville.
Well, I know you do. And look, again, look, this is the thing. And I will say this over and over again. This is just my opinion is not the holy grail for professional wrestling at all. There's people like you who love it. And that's awesome that you get to be entertained by stuff you love. There's never going to be a Kevin Perfect wrestling show because that's not what wrestling is. Wrestling is not aimed just for one person, right? I get it. I'm just saying to show that, you know, I'm not just saying it because it's a little yachty that, you know, I'm like that across the board when it comes to most 99% of any type of celebrities when it involves professional wrestling. That's how I feel. Logan Paul's the exception because he's actually an athlete. Because I always use the exception. I always use the example. You're not going to see these guys get into a boxing ring and put on boxing gloves. You wouldn't see that. So why am I seeing professional wrestling? That's just me, guys.
Well, I'm going to say this, though, you know, because I've got a Knoxville hanging on my wall right above my head here. I was there at Mania to see that match, and this is one thing that I'm hoping the guys in the back maybe noticed. They don't show this on TV when you watch it at Mania, but they're live. When Knoxville came out, that crowd was louder than
I'm sure it did.
You would have thought fucking,
I believe you.
You know, The Rock showed up and was going to wrestle the main event.
Yep.
Johnny Knoxville had their crowd. Right. It was the loudest match of the entire fucking night at that show. And on TV, it did come across like that. So if people don't like Knoxville, that's fine. But to be there in that building that night and listen to 70,000 people lose their shit over the Jackass crew, they did something right.
Now, look, I'm not saying that he wasn't over. I'm not saying that Lil Yachty won't be over at WrestleMania.
Well, I don't know
could
if
be.
Over,
but I'm just saying I'm not saying they're not over. I'm saying that's not what Kevin likes. Is all I'm saying. Other people like it, and that's why professional wrestling is so great. There's something for everybody. And
you can also say that Johnny didn't do anything that wasn't believable. He wasn't doing suplexes and power slams and diving off the top rope. He was rolling bowling balls into Sami Zayn's nuts. They worked with what Knoxville could do.
Right. Yeah. Mr. Herb says, I could only watch about 10 minutes tonight. I literally got upset, and I am so thankful our little organization has forgot what wrestling was and should still be. Mr. Herb, I completely agree with you because SICW is the type of professional wrestling I grew up on and that I still love. That's why I always say that AEW, more times than not, is the promotion that I prefer over WWE. But even AEW does some stupid shit that I don't like. Unfortunately, that's professional wrestling, though. Again, it's not made just for one person. But Herb, this is why I love you, and this is why I love what you do 100% because of old school fans like myself.
I'm going to interject, and if Cook was here, he would interject on this too, because he was my tag team partner for that night. It's in the book, and we're going there. So why? And I know why Rick did it. And even when I've talked to Rick now, Rick kind of shakes his head now and goes, "I don't know." But I think Rick was trying to bring more like the crossover. So Rick he brought in, there was a country DJ, and he was the morning DJ. He was popular with the Venice crowd from the Venice station, and Rick brought him in. Well, the guy never said, "Hey, Rick, you're going to bring me in. Is there a way we can, like all of us that's involved in this match, to work out?" Whatever. This dude thought, okay, I'm the morning DJ. I'm popular, this, whatever. Walked into the locker room, came over to Bob and I and said, "I'm going to do this, this, and this." And Bob and I looked at him and said, "No, you're not." And Bob gave him, you know, when Rick tagged him in, Bob gave him a punch. The dude didn't sell it. Bob picked him up and power slammed him into the mat. I think Rick tried to come in to intervene. I hit Rick, threw Rick out. And I mean, Rick and Bob and I just totally beat the shit out of this guy afterwards, but he just thought, I'm this popular DJ. I'm going to come in and I'm going to do this, this, and this. And he even looked at Jay Goodley, who was the ring announcer, and goes, I know this is all fake. And I guess he found out the hard way. But I mean, that's part, like, where I have issues is these guys just think, hey, I'm going to walk in here and do my thing, and this is easy. And you guys don't, like, it's all, yes, it is predetermined, but, it's not easy.
Right. Well, I just think that, I don't think anyone should be putting their hands on a professional wrestler unless they are other professional wrestlers. We've seen what happened with Cody Rhodes and what's his face. Hit him too hard, popped his eardrum. It's just, it rubs you the wrong way.
I totally disagree on that statement, because you just said, if you're not a professional wrestler, don't put your hands on a professional wrestler. That is your statement directly, correct? Okay. This is old school. This is territory. That would eliminate Kaufman versus Lawler, which is one of the biggest moments and feuds in Memphis wrestling.
Yep,
Kaufman was not a wrestler.
Yep.
He put his hands on a wrestler, but they did what Kaufman could do. He didn't do anything that wasn't outlandish. If you do things that are believable for being a guy outside of wrestling, I have no issue with it. If Kaufman went in there and all of a sudden started doing pile driver suplexes and, all of a sudden, okay, then that's not believable. If they can make it believable, go ahead.
But they
do it. But you got to make it believable. Don't make the wrestler look bad. Don't make it look like you're better than the wrestler if you're an entertainer.
He was the exception to the rule. He really was.
You said anybody. You said anybody.
For the most part, I'll stand by that. He was the exception to the rule. But you're risking
the thing about Kaufman, though, he respected the business and he was a big fan. So he actually, he respected it.
Jelly Roll has no issue with it. We've seen that. Same with Knoxville. He's been a fan. And they're just, as long as they're not overstepping their bounds of what they can do and they make it look good and they don't make the rest look good, I'm fine with it. It's when they go in and start doing shit like, when Mr. T went in there, I still have an issue with that because I don't think T was talented enough to do what he did at Mania. That kind of overstepped whatever. And that was Mr. T. He was a boxer. But I didn't believe what he could do because I didn't think that could happen. They gave him too much to do. That's my opinion on that one. Kind of the same thing with LT and Bam Bam Bigelow. I think Lawrence Taylor did a little bit more than he probably should have gotten away with against Bam Bam. But if you stay within the limits of what these guys can do to make it believable, I think it makes for a good television. It's when they go overboard with doing stuff they can't do and it makes you guys look bad. That's when I have an issue with it.
Robbie?
Right. But but what they did with Kaufman was great. But he had respect for it and stuff.
Yeah.
And even I heard after Kaufman had passed that he never even cashed any of those checks.
No.
They found them.
No. In fact, those checks are still out there somewhere. I think Lynn has them.
But they made it believable and he was respectful of it, where I think just some of these guys they're bringing in is just, they're trying to bring that group, whatever, like let's say Little Yachty. And
I'll agree with Little Yachty. Travis Scott, his bullshit. I agree with those.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, now I'm just going to try to say, hey, I was on SmackDown. I was on Raw. I was at WrestleMania. So to try to get me more popular, where you could care less about the business or anything.
Yep, Mr. Herb says there has to be a reason for an angle like that. If you continue to use those types of individuals all the time, where is the reason other than a short pop and a fizzle out? True story.
Totally agree.
Guys, we stay backstage with MFT. Thomas says the lantern was tearing them apart, and that it was time for them to get back to business. The titles, taking over SmackDown. And Solo seemingly agreed, but then he threw in, as soon as we get done with Uncle Howdy. So that goes back to the question, was there a seed tonight being planted of a breakup? Or nope, not really. And are we done with Uncle Howdy or not? Robbie?
They have to be done with Uncle Howdy because you kind of killed all its credibility, in my opinion, with the lantern.
We're all having issues with that word.
The lantern.
Fucking 3 hours of SmackDown. Of course, we have your problems talking.
Right. Yes. I just wasted 3 hours. 3 hours I had to stay awake. So,
Go ahead.
But yeah, there's. It looks like there's a seed that they may break this group up.
Grizzle, where else can they go with this Uncle Howdy thing, man?
I don't think they can. That's why I said I hope this was the end of it. And if it's not, then I hope they use Solo's obsession with Uncle Howdy as that seed where Tama kind of finally goes, fuck this, I'm done. Maybe they can use it that way as a way for Tama to leave because he's like, I don't want to do this. This is not what we're here for. And maybe, a couple guys might go with him. Who knows?
Here's the question, though. And would you like this? Start with you, Grizzle. They'll go to you, Robbie. Same question. You mentioned earlier you wouldn't mind seeing a Tama singles run. If they take him out of MFTs, is that what we're going to see? Or it's WWE, guys. Are we going to see a Tama Shinsuke team? Grizzle?
I would hope not. Unfortunately, like I said, if we see a singles run with Tama, it's just going to be him fighting every member of the MFTs for however long. And then he'll need a tag team partner, and that's where Shinsuke will get involved in it. So it would be a little bit of both. And then, like I said, once they do the MFT run, Tama would probably disappear. He'd probably fade into the background. It'd just be, sad but true.
Robbie, would you like to see a Tama Shinsuke team?
Truthfully, no. But I mean, listen, in the vet, he probably had Triple H listening and going, "Hey, we're going to steal that idea." So, way to go, Vet. You just put the seed in Triple H's head.
I'll give him my cash app.
He listens to his podcast
every day.
Yeah, I'm sure he does. Guys, we go Aleister Black versus Zack Ryder. Matt Cardona. Arms giving issues for Matt Cardona. Selena Vega, of course, distracts. Black takes advantage of it. And then ultimately, we get the Black Mass in for the win. Look, was it a good match? It was. It's Matt Cardona. It's Aleister Black. They're both good in the ring. This is my problem with it, though. If you're going to give me Matt Cardona, then give me Matt Cardona and stop giving me Zack Ryder. Because Zack Ryder loses. I want to see Matt Cardona start getting some wins. I'm not saying you got to put him in the main fucking event. I'm not even saying you got to put him at the top of the freaking, the star of the mid card. But give me some wins. And yes, Bob Cook, I get it. Wins and losses doesn't fucking matter to fans. It does. Robbie.
Yeah, because he's Zack Ryder. He's he's putting the guys over and stuff. So here was when I said you wonder if he's kind of regretting. I know you're saying paychecks, but granted, depending on what he charged on the independent scene, but I bet he was probably getting his hotel paid for, and he was probably getting his transportation paid for too out on the indies, where unless you're that big guy, you're not getting paid hotels and transportation and stuff.
Yeah, but even if he is paying for all that stuff with WWE, he still has to be making more money with WWE than he did on the indie scenes.
Yeah, but
I would hope so anyway.
Well, yes, let's hope so. And I mean, and you wonder though. I mean, you wonder if he tried to. We've talked about it, and look, because now he's probably wondering why'd I come, Hobbs. Because how much have they used Hobbs? Where have you haven't?
They haven't.
Right. So that's what I'm saying is
right. But with Hobbs, go ahead.
With Cardona, you wonder if he would have pushed himself maybe to AEW, where he would have been able to go in as Matt Cardona. And
so with Hobbs, one, he's getting paid even not being on TV, and I know he wants to be on TV, but I just have a feeling that they're waiting to after WrestleMania to start with him because of the timing that he started fitting them in. Right now, it's all about WrestleMania. Grizzle, look, I get wins and losses to a lot of people in the business. They say it doesn't matter. As long as they're being featured, I understand that. But as a fan, man, don't you want to see, look, if he's going to be Matt Cardona, then let's see Matt Cardona and let's see him get some wins. Or it doesn't, as a fan, you don't care.
Well, no, as a fan, you want to see him get more wins. If you're a Cardona fan, you want to see Cardona win. That's just obvious. On the business side of it, though, if he's making, we'll say, $250K a year, he could lose every match for 6 months. He's still making $250K a year. It don't matter. Well, right. And business is different from fan perspective. Fan perspective, you want to see whatever. Wrestler perspective, he's getting paid $250K. He's going to do what they want him to do.
Right. Unless you're Bret Hart and some other guy, a couple of other guys who it's not actually true.
Right. But is it, you hope if they are, you hope he's making that kind of money then.
Well, that was just a number off the top of my head. I don't
know.
Right.
No, but I'm just saying is, you hope for his sake for what, because basically you go, when he comes out, you're like, okay, they may say Matt Cardona, but you are Zack Ryder.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, yes, I get it, paycheck, but yes, if he's making $250K a year, then whatever I'll be Zack Ryder under Matt Cardona because at least for his sake, at least he's getting paid.
Right. Once again, guys, backstage, Kathy Kelly with Billy and Lyra. Here's that friendship thing again. Lyra questions Charlotte and Bliss's friendship. Making a comment, or might have been Billy who made the comment. Fuck, I don't know. But one of them made the comment that have you been through what we've been through, that you wouldn't still be friends. That just aggravated me. Guys, we're fighters. Supposed to be badasses. This is what we're talking about, Grizzle?
Well, yeah, no, it's more of the friends. But that's what Charlotte and Alexa's gimmick was, is, best friends or bestie or whatever. So, but no, and once again, this is another one of those promos that just wasn't. Yeah, it sets up for the match, but I just didn't think it was necessary promo.
Yep. Robbie, do you give a fucking 2 fucks about their friendship?
Of course he does.
No,
he loses sleep over this.
Yeah, right. No, I could care less about their friendship, but you screwed up on that one, Vet. The Charlotte Alexa was not friends. We're not best friends.
Oh, they're friends now.
I know.
They make
break
things, they do that shit together.
We kind of go to a commercial, but it's for Shawn Michaels' documentary that I would like to see. But this is the thing, man, and this is what aggravates me about WWE. Fuck. It's another goddamn streaming service I got to get to watch it because it's on Peacock. I mean, for fuck's sake, can they just keep it on Netflix or, ESPN or YouTube at this point? I mean, you want to, I don't know, it's like, Jesus Christ. Rob, is this a documentary you're interested in seeing?
You guys are going to hate me for this, okay? You're going to hate me.
No, you think I'm going to hate you for that? Oh, you silly man.
No.
The other reason.
No, for what I'm going to say. Go ahead. Okay, I was never a Bret Michaels fan. Shawn Michaels fan. I'm sorry, Shawn. Well, Bret Michaels too.
I don't like Bret Michaels either. I met Bret Michaels, and I don't like the guy at all, actually.
I mean, Shawn Michaels was very good. I just was not a fan. I was not a fan of Shawn. Very talented, nothing against him. I just was not a fan of him.
And see, I want to see this documentary because I follow Shawn Michaels' career. I think it's a very interesting story. I mean, this guy went from not knowing if he'd make it into professional wrestling to getting the push to getting out of control to where he's at now. Grizzle, same question. Any interest in this documentary?
Oh, God, yes. Yes, I watch all those documentaries. Yeah. Because regardless of the subject, that's one thing they do when they put together these WWE Films documentaries. They're very well done. And I'm always interested in hearing a story. The one that we were talking Bray Wyatt. That one they did on Bray Wyatt is absolutely amazing. I've seen it multiple times. I still cry. I can't.
Right.
I can't not watch it and cry without crying. It's just not
But
possible.
here's my question for you guys. Is things getting out of control with TKO or making decisions with just you have to have damn near every fucking streaming service out there to catch shit for WWE. I mean, Grizzle, is this something that is like, yeah, well, they're a business to make money, or is things just starting to go? It's just a little too far.
Well, they have the Raw and Netflix deal. They have the ESPN deal with the PLE. I think the Peacock deal, this is just kind of like the last little shades of it. I think when the Peacock deal is finally over and done, these documentaries could go to their YouTube channel or something, which seems to be, that's where they're showing the AAA shows and all that. So I think this is just kind of the end of the Peacock, because the Peacock deal was supposed to go until a point in time in 2026. Right. So I think this is them kind of, okay, we're still going to do this. We're still going to do this. I'm guessing that's where the Hall of Fame is going to be, is on Peacock. And then once
I hope not. That was my next question: is where is it going to? So are we going to have SmackDown that night and then the Hall of Fame? Is that what they're doing?
Yes. The Hall of Fame will be directly after SmackDown. So I think SmackDown probably is like 2 hours that night, from what I understand. So whatever, up until 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. Pacific, and then. Or no, 9 p.m. Pacific, and then at 10 Pacific, whatever, it goes to the Hall of Fame. That's like an hour. We're not going to see the Hall of Fame out here until like 11, or in Robbie's case, midnight, because of the time difference.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah,
it's directly after. It's directly after SmackDown. It's like last year. I'm not looking forward to being up until 3 in the morning for another Hall of Fame presentation. But I'll be there. I'll watch it.
I have a personal message to Nick Khan or whoever's making these decisions, that you very well could be the blame for my wife leaving me when I have to say that, yep, I got to pay for another subscription for Peacock just to watch this, because you guys can't put it fucking on ESPN or Netflix.
Do you have cable?
No, fuck no.
Oh. Okay. Well, see, I have to have a cable provider through my apartment complex as part of our rental deal, our rent here.
Yeah.
And my cable system offers all these streaming services as part of their package. So since I'm already paying the rent on it for this, I get all these streaming services for free, basically. So I don't.
You can send me your password, man.
I've done that before.
We'll
keep it on the down low. See if I can hook you up.
Now. And Robbie, I'm asking Cruz this because you said, I already know the answer, because you said you wasn't a big Shawn Michaels fan. If you did not have Peacock, would this documentary be enough for you to subscribe for a month just so you can watch this documentary?
You asked him the hard-hitting question. He's talking to you, Robbie.
No, he's talking to you, Grizzle.
I thought you were talking to Robbie. You already asked me. I said,
no. I even look. Right. I've been up since like 2:30 this morning.
Yeah. Okay, I thought he was talking to you.
No, and I didn't ask you that. I know you already have it. I said, if you didn't have it,
he said, if you didn't have it, would you get it for a month?
Probably. Well, one, you can do a 7-day free trial. I know, because I've done this before. And also, those illegal streaming services that we talk about, they have it. So no, I wouldn't. In this day and age, I don't know how they can even get away with paying money for this, because, as I said, if ESPN wasn't on my cable system, I would just watch the streaming sites and watch the pay-per-views that way. So,
Yep.
I apologize. You were already talking to me. I thought you were talking to Robbie. Oops.
So after this, guys, we do the recap.
Hey, you're not asking me about like this.
Yeah, now ask Robbie.
Because I told you, I know your answer to that.
No, but you're about the net, like having to have all these different channels for all the stuff. But that's the way it is. But that's the way it is with all the sports. The NFL's doing this shit. The
UFC.
Yeah, everybody. Like you have for every like for NFL, you have to have Netflix, you have to have Prime, you have to have this. They're putting them on all different channels to watch it, and it's just like after a while you're like, you're that. But what I lucked out on Peacock, because I had gotten a deal, like it was $20 for the whole year, and I was like, well, if you were to pay for a pay-per-view, that was with WWE, and then all of a sudden they took off, but like, so I just bought it and I was like, I'll just buy, do it for a year. And I think it went up a little bit to like $30.
Yeah.
2 years later. So,
yeah. Like I said, we did next recap of the Brock and Obafemi thing. We don't need to talk about that. It isn't it? Backstage, back with R-Truth, with Johnny Gargano. R-Truth talking about Casey for the job. Johnny Gargano says that he's going to be back tomorrow talking about the NXTs, their biggest pay-per-view.
I'm going to watch that because I want to see where they go with the Gargano story.
Yep. Priest then joins and questions R-Truth about, out of all the tag teams, that, why. He's like, because Asuka cursed the Miz. Asuka. That was great. Let's go back to Johnny Gargano for a second, guys. Is Johnny Gargano being put back on NXT permanently, or is this just a one-off? What's going on, Grizzle?
I don't think it would be a bad thing if they put him back on NXT.
Well, Robbie, as a professional wrestler, if this was you, would you consider that as a demotion?
No, because NXT now is popular, so
and it's on cable too, just like SmackDown.
Right. So I mean, if they like move him down there and he takes the strap off of that kid, and now you're the champion. I mean, you can't take it as a demotion because now they made you champ, but maybe they're just kind of lost and don't know what to do with Johnny since Ciampa left, and thought, okay, let's put you on NXT. At least you'll get work in and stuff like that. We'll figure out what we're going to do with you.
Fair enough, guys. Video package Drew McIntyre talking about him and Fatu's feud. Fatu's cost him to lose the title. Fatu's only there because of his family. And then next week, Drew says that he is going to expose to the world who Fatu really is. Look, this is one of Drew McIntyre, in my opinion, one of his best promos that he did. I actually like this one, Robbie.
I kind of thought it made him look weak because to me, it made it look like he was whining. That's how he came off to me.
That's every Drew promo, though.
He whined a little bit more. Okay.
Grizzly, what about you?
I'm gonna go with Robbie. This promo didn't match up to what Fatu's promo was.
Mm-hmm.
And you took this away from me. And next week I'm gonna show the people who you really are. Okay.
I liked it.
It was not a good answer to Fatu's promo.
Next, guys, Flair and Bitch versus Bailey and Lyra. Before the match, they go to video to talk about Nikki Bella and her rolling her ankle when she's in rehab to get better so she can be at WrestleMania. Great DDT by Bliss when she came off the ropes. This is the thing, though, about the DDTs they have a problem with, man. DDT at one time was considered such a brutal move. That was a finisher, and now it's just whatever.
Yeah.
He's gotten watered down.
Have you ever heard the legit story of the DDT? How that came about?
Maybe, I'm not sure.
Jake Roberts in the grappler. Jake had him in the front, and he was going to step back, and he tripped over Grappler's foot and went backwards with him and dropped him on his head. Yeah, I got that story directly from the grappler.
Oh,
he told me that story. I'm like, oh, and then I've heard the same. How much of it is actually the whole truth of it? But for the most part, yeah, the DDT was basically made off of oops, and they went, oh shit, the fans love that. Let's do it again,
guys. And I talked about this before. That boom mic that's over the ring, or whatever mic they have around the ring, it's too sensitive because during the match when Charlotte was flipping over Lyra, I think it's with her feet. There's a part that before she did it 3 times. One of those times you could hear Charlotte asking Lyra, "Are you ready?" Before she did it. You got to do something about that. I don't want to hear it. I don't. You guys not catch that at all?
I did not catch that.
No, go back to watch it. Man, Lyra catching Bliss off the rope. That was impressive. Then the natural selection done. Flair Bliss getting the win. Les Legend and Nia Jax attacked. I mean, that didn't surprise me at all. Robbie, your thoughts about this match and then the attack?
The match wasn't bad. Why you interjected Lash and Nia at the end, I mean, to me, made no sense. Just, I guess you're trying to build up hype for Mania, whatever, but it made no sense why they were there to interject themselves. To me, it didn't. That's my opinion. Match wasn't bad though, other than that. But the ending with them just coming in and doing what they did and whatever they do. I mean, now they have like this clap thing or whatever. Nia and Lash just remind me of the Waymans from Living Color. They just, I'm sorry, the two snaps up, now they're doing a hand gesture thing and whatever. They just remind me of the Wayman brothers.
Grizzle, your thoughts on this match, man?
Match is good. I didn't catch what you were talking about. But you say match is good, and you look who's in the match. I mean, Lyra Valkyrie was the weakest link of the match, and she's pretty goddamn talented. So
yeah, but let me just for a second. Here lately, it seems like Blair and Bliss, Charlotte Flair. She's been, I don't know, just something has been off.
She's phoning it in, but she's a fucking Flair. She's like her father. She can phone it in and still put on a good match.
Tonight was a good match.
Yeah. No, this is a very good match. I knew, and the whole thing with Nia, if Nikki hadn't rolled her ankle, they would have probably been there too. It's just another way to set it up so we can have that 4-way schmoz at WrestleMania where I'll probably be in the bathroom.
Yep.
Oh, wait, I have to watch the show to recap with KG that night. No bathroom break.
Guys, backstage again, this is where the show really went off the rails for me. Up to this point, there's already things, but here, backstage with Miz and Kit, Miz said the curse is a myth. We got a title shot. Danhausen shows up with a jar of teeth. He says he's going to the ring with them, and he's going to curse them. And Miz says, stay away. We go to the match, title match. Priest and R-Truth versus Miz and Kit Wilson. Guys, this is where I know I hear in the past that I think too much, and this is why I think too much. There's all kinds of shit to talk about here. Let's talk about Kit Wilson for a second. Now, you remember not too long ago, Obafemi used Kit Wilson like a rag doll and squashed him. And this is what I often say, this is the problem with using your talent for these type of squash matches. Because now you have Kit Wilson going in a match with The Miz, going for the titles, where he's actually giving a good offense against R-Truth and Priest. So you mean to tell me then that Obafemi would absolutely have his way with Priest and R-Truth in the match? Just treat them, because if he can beat Kit Wilson this badly so quickly, make him look like a fool, and then Kit Wilson though could actually give good offense against Priest and R-Truth, well then that means logic will tell you that R-Truth and Priest would be no problem at all.
We don't use the L word in wrestling. God damn.
It doesn't matter.
Jesus.
No, I do. Now that's not the only thing. Joe Tesh comments that his problem with Kit and Miz was how they got the title shot. What's your problem? Fucking R-Truth is the one that said, hey, I'll give you guys a title shot. So that was a double comment. Then Danhausen comes to the ring. This is where it really gets fucking stupid. Now, you remember I said I'm okay with Danhausen as long as he stays backstage. That shit, not to bring him to the ring. Well, I'll be goddamn if they didn't bring him to the ring. And they made a mockery at this point. Wants to go for the tag. Miz is the one that has a sense like, leave. You're not part of this. R-Truth tags him in. And then there's the curse where Miz is able to actually do his finish on R-Truth, go for 1, 2, 3, but because the ref is cursed for sitting down hours in the way, he can't get that final 3 count. Fucking ridiculous. Ridiculous. This is the shit that I talk about that I fucking hate. And then, of course, that I'll allow Priest to come in and pin The Miz. This is a mockery of fucking professional wrestling, in my opinion. Robbie, I'm going to go to you because I know Grizzle probably fucking loved this, creaming all over himself over it. You're a professional wrestler.
Oh, Jesus.
Tell me what you thought about this.
You're a professional wrestler, Robbie. You're the old guy. We're not worthy.
I mean, yeah, I mean,
I hope you cash app him his money every week. Yeah.
Hey, man, it's true. We just talk about it. They've lived it. This is their profession.
So, I mean, yeah, you should have kept Danhausen in the back. I mean, I get it. That's that little bit of comedy for the people that want to see comedy and stuff. But I'm going to say whoever was in creative watched Robbie and mine's match from August of last year because they stole my idea. It was my idea. If you go back and watch the Robbie Cook, Robbie Idol match from that street fight, I came up with that idea where I hit Robbie with the pan. He went down. I covered him. Pete did the 1, 2 on my shoulder, and I told Pete to do that. So.
But was it because of the curse, though? It wasn't
because of the curse.
That's the issue that I have.
Right. Okay. So the curse. I mean, we did it because, to show Pete was on Robbie's and Joe's, so that was that. But
right. That's much different than there's a crooked referee versus a fucking curse.
Right, but here, again, it's that little bit of comedy for the people that want the comedy. When I saw it, I went, "Damn, they stole my idea. They took my idea. They just put the curse on there."
You were from the same era of professional wrestling that I watched, right? And you wrestled in the South, which that's where I grew up with Southern wrestling. You don't consider this a mockery?
Here's the thing. We've talked about it on other podcasts and stuff. WWE is so different than all the other organizations, and they always have been. Go back and think about it. It's always been different. Like you said, I couldn't get into it from way back when it was WWF because cartoon characters and stuff like that. So they've always been different. Just every way, the way they've handled everything throughout the years. So, I mean, I don't look at that as a mockery. I mean, that didn't really bother me as much as saying having little Yachty in the ring. That bothered me more than this.
Okay. Go ahead, Grizzle. Tell everyone how much you loved it.
I did. I thought it was great. I love the Danhausen gimmick, and he plays it so well. And you forgot to mention in the promo earlier when R-Truth said, Asuka cursed him, and Damian says, Asuka's on Raw, and he says, well, who's that little girl running around with face? It was funny. R-Truth is kind of the comical spot now. That is what Danhausen is. In a way, Kit Wilson is kind of the comedy wrestler too, with the "you are toxic" whatever. So this match was not going to be a serious match.
Right there, and that's the problem. We're talking about the tag team fucking titles.
But you're allowed to have something that's a little more lighthearted and fun. It's okay to have fun.
When you have the titles involved, I think it should be taken seriously.
Oh, my God. Oh, shit. WWF men's tag team titles are now tarnished because they did a comedy match. Fuck it. Strip them of the belts. Put them back into a tournament. Let's bring back the Midnight Express and the Rock and Roll Express.
I am from the era of the Road Warriors,
have them wrestle
the Four Horsemen, Ric Flair. Okay, serious wrestling. None of this bullshit. I hated it.
Oh my God, Grandpa, you go take your fucking Metamucil so you're regular. Fuck. God damn.
No.
Do you need to go to bed early so you can get up early to make sure
if you want me to be
special?
able to suspend my disbelief, then don't make it so goddamn ridiculous that is impossible to fucking do.
But and I'm not defending Vet because his check didn't cash this week.
Fuck.
But it goes back to WWE has always been different, and they just do different things. And like think about it.
Look back in the old territory days. And Robbie, you know who Frank Hickey is?
No.
Spaceman.
Okay.
He was supposed to be an alien, like come out wearing a fucking astronaut helmet and shit. So the comedy has been in wrestling even back in
what promotion was he in though? Which territory was he in?
He was in all sorts of places. Frank Hickey was just everywhere. He wasn't any type, but I'm just saying there's always been
bullshit.
Comedy in wrestling is okay.
George
the Animal Steel was kind of a comedy thing.
He was the end. WWF always had that stuff though.
Yeah. So I mean, goddamn. I think Robbie's the more youthful of this group tonight, man. KG, shit.
I grew up watching what I grew up watching. I like what I like.
I grew up watching the same shit.
I hate overly cheesy shit.
But that's always been WWF.
Yes, exactly.
Thing, though.
Oh, I agree. That's why I didn't watch WWF for.
Yeah. If you see Danhausen coming out, something cheesy going to happen. Come on. When they're backstage and Miz, it's a curse. It's the curse isn't real. And what's up? All of a sudden, you see Danhausen just pop up with a big smile on his face. Come on, he's meant to be the comedy guy. There was no
backstage. Keep it backstage.
When he came, honestly, when he came out and was like going and Miz, I was almost expecting when R-Truth tagged him in that Danhausen was going to do something the truth, and the referee was actually going to count it and give the belts to Miz and Danhausen, just to fuck with Miz. That's almost what I was expecting. But then that didn't happen. The referee wanted to. Oh my! And then he holds his shoulder. Oh, I got to count with the left hand. It was fun. It was okay. And then of course, Miz is gonna do the Skull Crusher finale. The lights go down. The lights pop back up, and you see him running up the ramp because they took something that happened at the pay-per-view that was you weren't supposed to see it, and now they've made it like part of his gimmick. The guy's living his dream. He's having fun. The fans are enjoying it. Like I said, take your fucking Metamucil. Go to get your early bird special at the Grandpa restaurant. Okay.
It has nothing to do with being old. It has everything to do with I like what I like. And again, I get it. Not everything is about me. But I don't like when professional wrestling is made to be a mockery. I just don't like what I like.
I think you take this more seriously than some of the wrestlers do. Robbie was a wrestler. He's our wrestling guy. He lived this. He was in the sport. He did this for a living. And even he's not as bent out of shape of this as you are.
Right. I was more bent out of shape with Little Yachty.
And he's our resident wrestler. This is making a mockery of what he did, and it's not bothering him. I'm having so much fun with this right now.
Cody Rhodes came out and attacked it, which I was okay with. Cody talks about Pat McAfee, compares him to the NWO, and if Hulk Hogan's be the third guy, but instead of Hulk Hogan, it'd be Disco Inferno. You want to talk about being out of touch? I guarantee you, most of those basement dwellers there didn't know the fuck Disco Inferno was, because those don't know about history in professional wrestling or back past.
That's sad. Disco Inferno is considered history, but okay.
Zayn's going to get his receipts. Cody tells those in charge, I'm assuming he's talking about Triple H, Stephanie McMahon, to kiss his ass. What are you going to do, fire him? And then he says, problem is I don't know how to be a bad guy. Talks about his dark hair. I guarantee you Cody Rhodes is going to be coming out with black fucking hair. He says that he hears those voices, but you don't want to know what they're saying, which doesn't make sense because he just said, I don't know how to be the bad guy, but yet the voices in my head, you don't want to know what they're telling me. Robbie, did you love this?
I don't say I loved it, but other than, a couple things that didn't make sense, like, what I don't know how to be the bad guy, but I hear the voices, but up until the last couple, words that came out of his mouth, it wasn't bad. It was kind of nice to see him a little bit fired up, and emotional and stuff. I mean, I'd rather see that Cody Rhodes than the Cody Rhodes that we get boring promos from and stuff like that. So I didn't mind it. I thought, up until, he didn't make sense with a couple things. I enjoyed it.
And he mentioned, Stephanie as well in there. Grizzle, the whole kiss my ass thing. I mean, I assume he's talking about Stephanie McMahon and Triple H. What about you?
I don't know. This whole promo just kind of, it was a bad response to the stupid promo that opened up the show. And one thing, I like it when Cody's serious and he's kind of, but when he tries to get that anger in his voice and he starts yelling and he gets that gravelly voice, my ear picks it up every time. Cody Rhodes has, and this is petty, and I'm not insulting Cody Rhodes, but he has the goddamn worst lisp in professional wrestling. So when he gets angry, it almost sounds like a pissed off Sylvester from the Bugs Bunny cartoons, because he's all like, that's how it sounds to me. When he's serious about a promo, fine, but when he starts getting mad, that anger in his voice, that lisp really kicks in, and for me, it just shuts it off because I can't take him seriously. Because it just sounds, and that's being petty, but it's just what my ear picks up.
Cody Rhodes had mentioned that there's, I think, 2 or 3 of the podcasts he won't release because his guests may have had a little bit too much to drink during it. And he was saying how it's easy for him to hide if he gets a little tipsy because of his lisp. He's making fun of his lisp. And that's what that made me think of. Guys, next we go to Sami Zayn versus Carmelo Hayes. But before that, we get a Snickers recap of KO and Stone Cold Steve Austin from 2022. Question, there's been a lot of rumblings that Stone Cold's actually going to be back at this WrestleMania. Do you guys think that this was kind of a little hint, or was this not just simply a Snickers recap from a WrestleMania moment? Robbie?
Well, you wonder, is there a possibility KO's coming back? So it was
recently.
Seeing that, you kind of went, okay, is maybe KO coming back? I just think the Stone Cold thing. More so, it's like his health isn't it? Like just the injuries and stuff that he's kind of.
He's good. He's had surgery. After surgery, he did a race, from what I understand. He ran a race and stuff.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, he's supposed to be good.
Okay, well, then it's, who knows, could be maybe he is coming back or,
I know that there's a little bit of truth what Pat McAfee was saying when he's talking about the tickets. There's still tickets left for WrestleMania. I'm surprised they haven't made an announcement by dropping a big star's name involved in something yet.
They already did.
Did they? I must have missed it.
Well, think about it. Ticket sales aren't going so great. So what happens? I'm hosting WrestleMania.
Oh, yeah. That's right. John Cena.
That was a money grab right there as soon as he came out. Soon after his final, I'm hosting WrestleMania. That's because they need to sell tickets, motherfucker.
Right.
That's exactly what that is.
Yep. You're right. We know Trick Williams is out there to watch the match. We hear chants of Sami sucks. There's a spot in the match where Carmelo went over the top rope, landed on Sami, and seemed like he hurt his leg. He sold that well because I was actually like, oh man, I really hope he did not suffer a legit injury this close to WrestleMania. Good match. We seen kind of a heel to Sami Zayn towards the end of the match when he did that haluva kick while the ref was checking on Hayes throughout the match. Hayes kept on holding his knee. But overall, I thought it was a good match. We had the win. Sami Zayn retained the title. And then afterwards, Yachty and Trick Williams both attacked Sami. This is where I was a little confused because on one hand, I'm like, okay, Trick Williams is kind of maybe the baby face between in this, right? But then that was a very heelish move, and it made Sami Zayn look like the baby face that's getting jumped. But of course, the fans aren't taking it that way. Grizzle, what's going on here? Is Sami that heel? Is he the baby face? Is Trick the heel? Or is he the baby face? That fans are going to cheer even though he's a heel. I mean, what's the deal?
I don't see Trick as a heel because when he comes out, the fans start chanting, "Whoop that Trick." I mean, unless they're telling his opponent to whoop Trick's ass for.
No, I agree.
I know that's not what whoop that Trick means.
No, I agree with you. It's after the post match when both him and Yachty jumped Sami. Very heel like.
It was, but I don't think the fan. It's like Randy Orton. If the fans are going to cheer Trick, they're going to cheer Trick regardless of what he does because they like him. And Trick can do both. He can be the biggest baby face on the show, or he can. I think he could be the biggest heel too. And that's a rare talent for a guy to be able to work both ways.
Yeah, I agree.
I think Trick can.
You brought up the point where I was hoping you was going to bring up, like Randy Orton. My question is, creative sees the reaction Trick Williams is getting. They're not booing this guy. So you had the opportunity tonight. Instead of making Trick and Yachty kind of be that heel, those heels that were jumping on Sami Zayn, being the bullies, whatnot. Why wouldn't you have Sami Zayn just knock the shit out of Yachty or something and leave it at that to officially have Sami Zayn the heel, the guy that the fans were actually fucking booing, Robbie?
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. You should have had him do something against Yachty or whatever, Right. I don't, who knows? Again, you wonder sometimes with what creative comes up with. It just makes you wonder. And I mean, you know, where they're going with all these ideas, who knows?
Right. Yeah.
I sometimes picture creative as a bunch of monkeys in suits flinging their poo on the wall to see what sticks. But I think that way about the corporate offices of the company I work for too. So
right.
That's something I watch this podcast. Robbie, what would you give SmackDown tonight? I'm going to be very generous and give them a C minus.
I give them a C minus.
Grizzle.
C minus for the win.
Yeah.
It opened with a bad promo. It didn't get much better off of that. It had a couple points where it was like good, but not enough to,
Yeah. I completely...
not to cover the 3 hours. It didn't have enough good points.
Yeah, not to cover the 3 damn hours. Oh God, this is so hard.
Yeah, I agree, guys.
So I'm almost glad I get to take 2 weeks off. Here soon there. I don't have to do the SmackDown recap for a couple weeks. I do have to do Mania recaps, mind you, which folks we will be doing after each night of WrestleMania. KG and I will tell you what we thought.
Yeah. I will tell you why I hate Danhausen being in the ring even more in WrestleMania.
Oh, Danhausen is going to be at Mania. He's going to do something.
There we go. Guys, Monday the 13th, Baby Doll. She's going to be on the podcast. And then April 22nd, Mark Charles III. Great guy. He's going to be on. And then April 27th, I have an interview with Casey Thompson. Great guy as well. He's been on my show. Grizzle. Sunday. Fuck. Yeah, Sunday. Your radio
well,
show.
Well, technically tomorrow it is 12:04 a.m.
Yeah. Right. Lots of memories. You guys going to be talking about AEW, right?
We might be discussing AEW this weekend because according to Glenn, I don't know if you have the same issue. I hear there's a supposed storm possibly coming in that predicting like possibly 10 to 12 inches of snow.
Yes.
So if that hits tonight, there may not be any Wrestle Memories this weekend. If there is, though, yes, we are going to be talking AEW Dynamite and Collision. Glenn was there live. We're going to compare live to television, kind of see what we missed, what, how it came across there, how it came across here, what he saw that we didn't, and all that type of stuff.
And Robbie, May 9th, man, your last match.
Well, here's how now the stipulations have changed.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm a special referee.
That's it. KT's flying.
I'm the guest enforcer.
There you go. So the special stipulations is my career is on the line. Robbie's career and belt's on the line. So.
Okay, wait, whoa. Hold on. This is your last match.
Well, the stipulations have changed. It could be my last match.
It could be. Okay, good.
It could
I was going to say,
so
Robbie.
if I win,
Right.
Robbie's career is over in TWA, and I walk away with the belt. So he loses the belt, and he's out of the whoever loses is done in TWA.
Okay.
Now I didn't bring this for you. Robbie, I haven't talked to you about this yet, but I spoke to Robert Cook, and there's a possibility he may be on the show Tuesday.
Okay.
So,
be nice, Robbie.
After the podcast, to talk a little bit about the issues and why this has been going on for fucking 14 years.
So is he gonna replace Bob Tuesday night? We get to know Bob's gonna be there too. I gotta deal with both of them.
Yeah. Yeah, in all fairness, I love you, but in all fairness, you kind of made the deal with this or no, because this is all because of you being pissed off over Bob that you decided to take it on Robert. So we'll see what's gonna happen though. I'm not taking sides.
I think he's already showed what side he's on.
I'm taking sides, man.
I'm on Team Robbie Idol. Yeah. Got to be specific here. Too many Robbies in this.
There is.
I know, right? Well, that's why you can't even say Cook because you got Robert, you got Bob, so you could do Bob, Robbie, and just go Idol.
Yeah. Guys, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. Besides my Monday interviews, or this coming week, actually, we will be back on Tuesday to do a recap of a Monday Night Raw. Hopefully, it'll be better than SmackDown. We will see. And then, of course, we will be doing a recap of Wednesday Night Dynamite, their go-home show for Dynasty.
Ooh, we get to predict Dynasty. And we get to make Dynasty predictions, too.
Yes, we could do that as well.
Didn't they just have a pay-per-view?
Yes.
A few weeks ago.
Like a couple weeks ago, yes.
It just seems like it was last week.
Seems like it. So much fucking wrestling. I'm not complaining. We're wrestling fans, man.
Hey,
never be enough wrestling.
Right? Did you see who was on TNA last night?
I have not gotten to that yet.
Oh, then I won't say it then.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, Tessa Blanchard.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So you wonder, are they keeping her, or are they just bring her in for appearance, or what?
Yeah. I brought this up in our group. I'll bring this up next week when we do our predictions thing, because I want somebody to give me a straight fucking answer. If the Brawling Birds were brought in as a tag team in the women's tag team division, why are they booked the fucking singles matches at the pay-per-view? I want an answer. I agree with Bob Cook, mind you, on his answer.
Right, I thought the other one to do it. It makes no sense. But again, creative. I think sometimes creative just takes the easy way out.
No. Well, hopefully you make it better. There's a lot of rumors out there that Road Dogg Jesse James is going to AEW creative. We'll see. Nothing confirmed. It's just rumors.
Wouldn't be a bad thing. Shit.
But yeah, it won't. Guys, you have a great weekend.
You too.
And we will see you, everyone.
You guys have a good Easter.
Yes, have a good Easter. Robbie, see you Tuesday. Grizzle,
see you Tuesday.
Cursed.
The fact that I had to sit down and watch that travesty tonight, yes, I am cursed. You guys have a great night.
You too.